Hey guys, Dr. Drunk aka welcoming you back to the bar. Got another World of Warships game for you here, where I'm divvied up with my buddies from Hot Dogs, Pengugri, and Penguin with a Hoogie, in a Kremlin, a Sommers, myself, and the Tier 10 British light cruiser, the HMS Minotaur. What do you need to know about HMS Minotaur? She's made out of tissue paper, she's made out of citadels, and she's made out of guns. She also only has AP. Those of you who are astute will have detected the fact that I am not running smoke, running radar. Those of you who are extra astute may have surmised that I'm not running concealment either. Instead of the concealment module, I am taking the, rudder mod, rudder steering gears 3, I think it is. Gives me a detect of approximately 10.2 kilometers with a 10-kilometer radar range. You can play Minotaur with a concealment mod in slot 5, which gives you approximately 9.1 or 9.2 detect and a 10-kilometer radar range. For most cases, running the double rudder Mino works better. It allows you to dodge shells better. That rudder shift is almost destroyer-like in terms of its rudder shift time. It's very, very handy in many situations where you can't necessarily always be sitting behind islands. We're on Haven. We're top tier as tier 10. There are tier 8s in the game. And of course we spawn on the Bravo side, the far right flank, and we can't do a whole lot out here, honestly, because there are only 3 of us here. Kerfer, Salem, Yugamo, Neptune, Kita, and Holland all go into the opposite side. So all the tier 10s have gone heavy to the Charlie side. Bravo side has just the 3 of us, and Hipporamagi and Richie coming this way as well. Now you will see there's going to be a thorn in our side the entirety of the damn match. Deadeye in his Kleber, and let's be honest guys, trying to hit a Kleber with Mino guns? Yeah, it's a challenge to say the least, but, you know, we make do. We find ourselves a nice campy island spot, and we decide, you know what, Yami, you look like an inviting target. We're going to see if we can blink away at you for just a little while. Bravo is being capped, and yes, I do have radar coverage of that cap. However, it's probably useless to pop that radar. Looking at the minimap, the Amagi and Richie are the only things that have shots in there, and could I probably popped it? Maybe. I'm not interested in stopping to type, Maggie and Richie, pay attention to Bravo. I'm going to radar Bravo. Radar's a tool to be used to shift the flow of the game. Radaring that ship in Bravo, which we can't see, but I do know, I can, spoiler alert, it's the Vampire 2. Radaring that ship would do nothing to change the flow of the game as it is. I know both of those. I know Boomy and I know Deadeye. They are not dumb enough to be afraid of being radared. Cap. They'll just chill out, move out of position, and get right back. Not a big deal. However, Penguin can't really gunfight a Kleber, especially not in a Sommers. We managed to kind of push him back, push him off a little bit. And I'm realizing at this point, well, that Kleber is relatively out of the match right now. Gree and Penguin have a Hipper to help them out. There's only a Yami, and the Yami's on the J line, so we're going to try and, again, abuse the island cover and get a little bit of damage in here. Try to shift the flow of the game a little bit. Montana is hiding behind the islands. We get the 2 blue turrets over, and we can get some work on here. Of course, he goes dark. Hipper, he's sitting behind the rocks as well. This case, we can get the guns out. Boomy, of course, or that's Deadeye, actually. Deadeye, of course, being a pain in the ass, keeping me spotted. Hydro picks up the Vampire's torpedoes. That's confirmation of where he is. We knew he was in Bravo anyway, but we just know a little bit more that he's in Bravo. We know where he is. The Alaska, I don't know what this Alaska is doing, has decided he doesn't want to live anymore. He's going to sail broadside into the cap in front of a Seattle, and it wasn't a Salem, it's a Seattle. A Seattle, and I guess the Curvers can't do anything to him. But obviously the Alaska's making the play for our Holland, trying to get him off the board. We're going to try and get him either reset or out of the cap, or a combination of both. And again, you know, if anybody who's played the Minotaur will know that, Jesus, those guns are incredibly difficult to deal with in terms of their floaty shell time. Oh, and look, there's a vampire. About to find out what makes Radar Mino so stupid. And what makes it so much fun. I see him coming, I'm thinking, great, I'm going to just push across into him. Guessing correctly that he's going to smoke. And he does smoke so that he can kill the Holland. He guns down our Holland. And again, my guess is that he's going to smoke train his way to the Richelieu. And while he's smoke training his way to the Richelieu, he's going to just burn him down. How amusing. Suddenly, a wild Minotaur appears. And at this point, it's worth noting that, guys, if you see a Mino in game, always assume the Mino is going to be radar until proven otherwise. Always assume Mino is radar until proven otherwise. And of course, because now he's spotted by radar, he cannot escape. He's trying to run. He's going to be focused by pretty much everybody. My terrible aim is coming home to roost again, because obviously Gree has his guns facing Charlie Cap, and he gets the kill on Boomy. Still a pretty even game we've got here, honestly. It's 430 to 400 points. We just took back Bravo. Charlie is now uncontested. Arquetta's apparently thinking that's a good idea right now. We have a one-ship advantage. We have a couple of points advantage. We have a single cap advantage. What would your typical team do? Let's try to win harder, guys. We need to win harder, because obviously winning harder is how you do it. Ugumo basically proves that as he gets murdered by a Mogador. Classic. How you're spotted by a Mogador, I don't know, but was. In any case, we're going to play patiently. We're going to use islands. We're going to pray that we're not spotted when we're firing here, which we are not. The island in front of us covers most of our range, and of course the Mogador burns down the curve first. So we're now down a ship. We're down 2 ships because the Yamato kills the Yamagi. The Yugo does get a flesh wound against the Alaska, which is great. It takes a radar off the board. It takes actually a very dangerous cruiser off the board, especially for me. Alaska AP is absolutely disgusting against a Mino, so I'm glad he takes that off the board. The Mogador makes a mistake of pushing into Penguin, the Kidda, and the Neptune. That's not going to end well for him. Now I'm in a bit of a pickle here. The Hipper's going to spot me. When the Hipper spots me, the Montana will have my side. I can tuck into the island here. So I pop the Panic Penguin button. Penguin, smoke me, daddy, smoke me. And he puff, 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 and passes. Now, of course, we do have one issue that the Alaska is pushing in. We need that Alaska to die before he hits his radar range. And I'm hoping that him being shelled will actually convince him that he doesn't want to be here. I'm not sure why the Hipper decides that this is a good place to back up, but he does. the Seattle... Is that the Seattle that's got his radar running? I believe it is. Can't torp because the kid is there, and the Alaska is choosing not to push. Alaska overshoots his blind fire, thank God. Really want to be murdered by the Alaska today, and he pushes in with his radar running. This no bueno. However, the Alaska is sitting behind the rocks, which is great because his guns do not have arcs to touch me from there. On the flip side, my guns have the arcs to touch him from where I am. Neptune goes down to the Hipper. I'm not entirely sure. Was he hydroed, perhaps? I'm not entirely sure. We're even on ships. We're losing Bravo to the Kleber. That Bravo flank has basically just collapsed in on itself to unpleasant effect, let's put it that way. Snap a few shots off at the Hipper, we snag a kill there. And holy shit, that's not... Oh, okay, no, it's not that bad. We're still in smoke. We still have 30 seconds worth of that summer smoke here. So let's pop that radar, see what we see. And of course, Deadeye doesn't get reset before it's the cap, and he is playing very tight into that island. So there's not a whole lot we can do in that case. We do have a little bit of smoke left here. We have a little smoke time left. Penguin and I are talking, going, yeah, you got about 10 seconds, 15 seconds or so. Pop off a few shells at that Montana, and somehow Penguin murders the Schultz? Schultz was really low health too. But we're just going to play the islands. We're going to play smart. That Monty is sitting broadside. Mino AP can do impressive things to broadside ships. Yemi does cross-map our Hipper and plunk him pretty hard, gets him off the board. Overstayed his welcome a little bit. You have a chance to shoot a destroyer, you generally shoot at a DD, but since we don't, have a lot to do. But suddenly, we're up one ship. We're recapping Bravo. We're up about 140 points. This is still a very losable game. Our kid is low. Our Richie is 3/4 health. Our Seattle's 3/4 health. This game could turn relatively quickly, though. It doesn't seem like it, since the Hindenburg is apparently trying to commit suicide here, which he should do momentarily, if I remember rightly. But right now, we just need to sit and hold on, and unfortunately, the Hindenburg does not make the turn that I think he's going to make, and I make the mistake of shooting and getting spotted, so it's time for me to go. Deadeye popping up again. He spots the Kidda somehow. That Kidda needs to smoke and go away, and he does. Richie manages to kill the Hindi. We still have a Kleber out there, which is a problem. We still have a couple of battleships which can essentially one-shot, just remove me from the game, which I don't particularly like. That's not exactly a fun time for me. I don't have radar for another 15 seconds. So at this point, I'm telling... Oh, there's a North Carolina right there. That's not fun. That's not fun at all. I'm not having fun right now. Holy shit. Brown pants moment. The Kleber ran down and killed our Kidda. The NC immediately decides that he does not like me and he wants me to disappear and go back to port. So we are making really big steps for island cover here, trying to get behind cover, which we should, but oh look! There's a fucking plane. Yay, World of Warplanes, welcome. This is always what we wanted. Smart play, pop in that plane so that he can spot me, but I cannot spot him. Currently we are capping Delta, and we're losing Bravo. Penguin gets a couple of torps into the Yami. Tana's out of range. Only thing here is going to be the NC and the Bear. And of course, how do we do this? Well, we need to be patient. By being patient, we can actually separate this team and take fights one-on-one. Wait for the NC to shoot at Gree, and then we're going to start farming him to the best of our ability. Have to be cognizant that we have one aiming at us, that's going to be the NC, and there is, of course, a Montana and a Yami at range. So we're going to play with the throttle, we're going to play with the rudder, and actually it was the Montana that was aiming at us, not the NC, which I'm not quite sure why the NC would not be aiming at a open water Minotaur, but hey, these things. The Montana's trying to stagger his turret fire, and he's so far failing to do so. You see why double rudder on the Mino is so nice. I can actually literally just turn away from it, which is fantastic. But we managed to rack up 103k. We've managed to be an absolute pain in the ass for the enemy team. And honestly, we've really never pushed further forward than Alpha. We touched Charlie a little bit, but we haven't done much. Really, we're just playing smart. We're just playing smart. Now, we know the Kleber is in CCAP. We don't know where in CCAP until the Seattle pops his radar. But we pop the Hydra just in case that Kleber is making a rush to us. Have that ready and running. Deadeye knows he's relatively boned in this case. There's not much that he's going to be able to do. The Montana, apparently, was that the Montana that switched to... It was a NorCal that had HE loaded. Oh god, he cut across the cap too. That's unfortunate. We need to shimmy, shuck and jive here in order to try and not get murdered by the NC and the Montana, which everybody's looking at me. We get ourselves a Confederate and spreading our damage around. The Monty, he does some damage, cool. The NorCal very nearly deletes a switch. That's very unfortunate. However, we do get a chance to delete him, and of course the Hydro picks up the Kleber torpedoes, which double rudder strikes again. We manage to dodge and avoid, and with that, the match will end. Cue the post-battle results screen, 125k with 3 kills and a Confederate medal. Good enough for 8,500 XP. 1,700 base, the Seattle, and the Kitakazi did some work, but our div right up behind him with 5 total kills. And you can see damage done. We did a lot to that NC, and we basically planked off a couple of others with small amounts of damage. Guys, we do play all these games on the Twitch channel, twitch.tv/DrDrunkAKA. Jump on by, drop a follow, and of course, don't forget to like and follow and subscribe on YouTube. Until next time, guys, the bar is closing. It is last call. You don't have to go home, but you can't stay here. Later.